Okay, Glenn, we're live and we're recording. 3, 2, 1. We're live and recording. And we're going to check out and see what's on the news this morning. First off, Trump. He is escalating the criticism. Criticism is escalating. The NFL seeks to unite amid more anthem protests. Now, we're going to check into this and see what this is all kind of about right now. The NFL players are kneeled during national anthem following further Trump tweets. NFL game day dawned Sunday with a powerful display of unity by the Baltimore Ravens and Jacksonville Jaguars playing and coaches who locked arms in the sidelines of London's Wembley Stadium, some kneeling, others standing during the singing of the United States national anthem. Their statement without words came in response to a 3-day campaign by President Trump, who at 6:44 a.m. Sunday renewed his demand that the NFL owners fire or suspend players who kneel during the national anthem in protest and called on fans to boycott games of the practice continued. Well, here's the thing about this. I just got thinking about this because I didn't really pay too much attention. I just figured it was another stunt the mainstream media's pulling to try to make Trump look bad. But analyzing it a little bit further...
They're kneeling because they give the other guys rooms at least to see their face.
Yeah, maybe. But
so that's why they're kneeling.
I wanted to mention one thing about this. It's going back to ancient times, you know. When you come in before a king or before a dignitary, it was considered to be in good standard or good taste to kneel.
Yeah.
And in fact, they wouldn't let you stand before a king. They would want you to kneel before the king on one knee.
Yeah.
Or curtsy before a queen. It was considered to be in good taste.
Yeah.
And so Donald Trump might not be on the right side of this argument here, because these players that are kneeling while the national anthem is being played, it seems to me goes back to the significance of like kneeling before a king or before a dignitary. And so he's trying to say that they're not showing their patriotism, but in a way, kneeling is probably more patriotic even than standing. It's more of a like kneeling before a king. In fact, if you didn't kneel before the king, they might take you out and execute you in the old days.
Yeah, and take your head off.
Yeah. What do you think? So I don't think that really. I think that he's possibly missing the point here. That their kneeling is in not showing respect.
To give the guys behind more room to at least see their face.
Well, I don't see it as them showing disrespect. What do you think?
No,
me neither.
They got to see the whole team. People like to see other people's faces.
Yeah, so
especially from their waist up.
Let's move on to a different story here. Now, I'm going to tell you what one of the things that's going on right now while I'm looking for a different story here. There's Puerto Rico right now. Let me tell you about Puerto Rico. There's a dam breaking. There's a dam breaking in Puerto Rico right now.
Nothing left of it, is there?
Well, yeah, it's terrible what they've done in Puerto Rico. What the hurricane has done, to say. 3.5 million people there on that little island right now. Now, this is a human crisis going on right now on that island. And the reason why is because when you got 3.5 million people on Little Island and they've got no water anymore and they've got no food and they've got no anything, you can't really get them off.
Mm.
There's not enough boats to get them off. There's not enough planes to get them off. And they're not bringing in enough supplies quick enough for 3.5 million people. Simple as that. And so this is a terrible situation that's developed in Puerto Rico, and it's developing because they're just starting to run out of food and water right now, you know. And so, and a dam's breaking on top of that. You know what I mean? Now, in North Korea, right now, the North Korean minister just flew into Trump. He said Trump is mentally deranged.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he's full of megalomania, he said.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that Trump holds a nuclear button, and he poses the gravest threat to international peace and security today. And he said this in front of the United Nations, the North Korean minister. Right? Let's see, it was the Ri Young-ho, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the People's Democratic Republic of Korea. He assailed the U.S. President Donald Trump. He said he was mentally deranged. And he says, our rockets will visit the entire U.S. mainland. That's what he said. He's gonna rocket or blast rockets and blow up the entire U.S. mainland. What do you think of that? That's what he said.
If the United States launch rockets and blow up his little island.
Well, I don't think he's living on an island. You're confusing him with Puerto Rico.
North Korea is kind of like an island, isn't it?
Well, it's a little it's next to the water, but it's on the mainland, I do believe. It's only a small country. It's about the size of
Nova Scotia.
No, I think it's bigger. It's about the size of Florida, I think. Something like that. Something like that size. So it's fairly large. So there's a lot of stories happening right now. How did I get into football on here? Not football, basketball. Now, this is supposed to be the top stories. Here, we'll try top stories for the world. Merkel is heading into her 4th term. Why is she running so long? As Merkel, the head of Germany.
Yeah.
She's the leader of Germany. She's a woman. She's heading into her 4th term. Let's just read a little bit about that. Merkel heads into the 4th term. Hard right eyes first seats. Voting begins at 6 o'clock GMT. Europe's biggest economy, and exit polls are announced at 1600 GMT. Few expecting surprises, giving Merkel's double-digit poll lead. So they say that Merkel has a lead in the polls. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
The Germans are voting on Sunday, September 24th in the general election. Expected to hand Chancellor Merkel a 4th term in office. So the Germans are planning on winning the election here. Now, there's an earthquake that's occurred in Mexico. And they were going into buildings and trying to rescue people, but it's 5 days now into the quake. And they were going into a building the other day and trying to rescue a little girl they thought was in there, and I guess there was nobody in there, But it's 5 days into the quake, and in Mexico City.
How close is Mexico to that damn volcano?
Mexico's just loaded with volcanoes.
Oh.
They got a lot of volcanoes down there, but they're in an earthquake zone. I guess it's part of the Earth's ring of fire of quake zones.
No one of them people are trying to get out of Mexico.
Yeah. You mean with Donald Trump building the wall?
Yeah.
Now, the Chinese, you know what they're doing? They've got this One Belt, One Road initiative. You ever heard of that?
No.
Well, what they're planning on doing is they're planning on building infrastructure way off into the Himalayas and everywhere else. They're going to make this giant project that's going to cost trillions of dollars. And they're going to spend all that money trying to get the old Silk Road going back again, where they're going to bring goods from east to west and from
trying
west to east.
Trying to spend that money before what's-name gets his hands on it.
Before who gets their hands on it? Oh, well, Trump's going to try to put his own money in to different projects that he's working on as well, you know. But they're trying to halt him. See, now China is being very smart here, spending this infrastructure money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Trump wanted to, which would have been very smart, right? Except these guys that want to bring Trump down are blocking him at every move so that he can't get his infrastructure programs going through to actually improve the economy. Because they want to bring the economy down. What do you think of that? And they're using these divisive issues like remarks about athletes and stuff and about kneeling or not kneeling. I mean, the way I see it, whether they kneel or they don't kneel, kneeling is a sign of respect, you know? And they're just creating these issues. Like one of the issues was about the whole Russian interference and meddling in the elections and all that. That was all just an issue that they created from nothing. And this is just another issue that they've created yet. So what do you think of that, Glenn? Well, they're saying that Puerto Rico's economy is dealt a new blow by Maria. It's no gasoline or anything. I can see them in lineups here and everything on the news. Chaos, it says. It says the chaos is unleashed by the breakdown of their basic services. Lack of gas shortages put many businesses into limbo. So they're thinking ahead to a recovery, but it shows them standing in line here for gas. It says, meanwhile, the hurricane has pushed back the island's bankruptcy process, struggling under $72 billion in debt. Puerto Rico filed the biggest government bankruptcy in U.S. history earlier this year, but that is now in the back burner, sources said on Thursday. The island is riddled with bad news, says Jonathan Mondello. Look at them in lineups here, trying to get gas. I can see that they're trying to get the island back up and running again. But with the electrical grid down, it's almost impossible. And this is going to create a crisis where even the people who have a lot of money and stuff in Puerto Rico are going to probably want to be getting off of the island pretty soon, because it's going to start descending into chaos unless they can get order in there. And to restore order, what they're going to need to do is bring in ships, cargo ships. Forget bringing in airlifts. Airlifts cannot bring in enough goods. It just wouldn't do it unless they had a massive airlift, maybe 100 planes running constantly. They might be able to do it. But what they really need is some ships. To get some ships in there, dock some ships, and start unloading goods and cargo into the area so to support these people, because I can just imagine that soon everything's going to be running out. Food, water, medicine. It's going to be really bad, the situation, unless they can get some help into these people pretty soon, you know. Anyway, this is pretty much what's going on in the world today. Thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next article. Bye.